Seems to me that the pointing the finger stuff is not helpful right now. We should be uniting against these barbarians. One of the Republican lawmakers who believes this is significant is Congressman Mike Lawler from New York, who joins us now. He also represents a district with a large Jewish population and is on the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us. Appreciate it. You think I'm getting something wrong on this?
Thanks for having me. No, I'm not disagreeing with the premise of your comment, and I've been very clear about this going back to August when it was first announced, and in September, on September 11th, when the Biden administration officially notified Congress of the $6 billion deal with Iran, and 2 weeks ago when we held a hearing on the Taylor Force Act, I brought this issue up. I just fundamentally don't believe that we should be releasing sanctioned funds to the biggest state sponsor of terror, and that is Iran. And the reality is that Iran has been funding Hamas and supporting Hamas as a proxy to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. They've been very clear about that. You're not dealing with an honest broker. You're not dealing with a government that is sincere. And so when the Biden administration announced this deal, the Iranian president made it clear they don't care what the Biden administration says. They're going to use the funds how they see fit. Now, the funds are going through Qatar, and Qatar has a relationship with Hamas. Qatar, overseeing the use of these funds, that's fine. But at the end of the day, money is fungible, and you are freeing up other funds that would otherwise be used to support humanitarian efforts in Iran. I just think fundamentally this is a difference of opinion, and many folks were outraged about this back in August when it was first announced.
That's fair, and you've been consistent on this. But let me ask you this: do you think that it is counterproductive for people now to claim that that was somehow the reason that this happened, that this is connected to that, as opposed to taking the position you've taken, which is, I opposed it then, I oppose it now?
Yeah, I think people need to be very clear in what they are saying. To me, the people responsible for this is Hamas.
Right.
A terrorist organization who is hell-bent on destroying the state of Israel, and Iran, who backs them.
Yep.
The question that I have raised, and I raised it, again, you can go back and look, 2 weeks ago in the House Foreign Affairs Committee, when we were talking about the failure of this administration to enforce the Taylor Force Act, which ends any aid to the Palestinian Authority because of their pay-to-slave policies to kill Israeli citizens. And I raised with the administration officials the stupidity of giving $6 billion in sanctioned funds through Qatar to Iran for humanitarian purposes. We can slice and dice and argue about, well, they're purchasing food and supplies and giving it. The reality is they are freeing up other funds. Money is fungible, and I think people need to understand what we're talking about here. For anybody to claim that this money somehow was used to do this, I think is inaccurate and wrong. But that's not what I've said. I've been very clear going back to August on this issue.
Fair enough. Let me switch gears with you for a minute and ask you about Matt Gaetz. You've been one of the toughest critics of Matt Gaetz. You've talked about how, in effect, he should be expelled from Congress. I wonder, though, is that even possible? Is it plausible? Are you making an effort to actually have him expelled, or is it more just anger and fury at Matt Gaetz?
No, I've said he should be expelled from conference, not Congress. You shouldn't be expelled for being a jerk. The reality is that we have conference rules, and the conference rules required a majority of the majority to bring a motion to vacate. Matt Gaetz and 7 of my colleagues teamed up with 208 Democrats, including AOC, Ilhan Omar, Eric Swalwell, Adam Schiff, to remove a duly elected Republican House Speaker. There's no question we have challenges within the conference. You duke it out in conference. To turn over the House floor and the House Republican majority to the Democrats to remove a duly elected Republican speaker without any real cause is a joke. I mean, literally, they're saying the reason that they removed him is because he had a majority of Democrats vote with Republicans to keep the government open,
Right.
and that was sacrosanct. But then they relied on Democrats to remove the House Speaker. I mean, it's a joke. And I think if we're going to be able to govern as a conference, as a House Republican majority, you have to be able to work as a team. And unfortunately, Matt has not been one who's willing to do that.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.